guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make beats for NETTSPEND inspired by his new album Early Life Crisis. And let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the album. Personally, I liked it a lot. And yeah, let's get straight into the video. So first off, starting with the melody, as you can see, a lot of rendered out audio clips. And you're going to want to render out your audio clips in order to create these really cool textures that are found in a lot of underground beats used by artists like Che, Osamasa, and NETTSPEND. But just specifically like Draco FM produced beats, and I'll show you how we got these cool textures for this beat. So first, starting off, I made this, and this is a preset from Serum. And as you guys can hear, there's some pretty heavy effects on there. I have the shaper box preset, which looks like this, another shaper box, then I have some distortion, and then an OTT. And here's what this sounds like without all these effects. So clearly a big difference. The effects are doing a lot to manipulate the sound, and you're going to want to kind of destroy your, I guess, sounds with just a whole ton of effects, because it will create these really cool textures like I was saying. So next I rendered that out into this audio clip and then added another shaper box, as we can see right here, and this sounds like this. As you guys can hear, it's already very different from the first original sound. And then I consolidated that another time and created this. And then this was the final version. The last thing I did was I just chopped it up in order to highlight the sections that I liked to create the final version, which sounds like this. And then now moving on to the next layer of the melody, we have this from Serum as well. And once again, I do have some effects on there. As you guys can see, I put a bunch of effects, 2 shaper boxes, got this preset, and then this one I just added this little time modulation because I thought it would sound cool. So distortion and OTT. And then once again I consolidated that to get this. Get the point. Here I just EQ'd it, and then I just chopped that up in order to hide the sections I liked. And in the actual song, I kind of have this bouncing back and forth with this melody. As you guys can see right here, they kind of are, one plays and the other plays, and it kind of creates a cool effect. Yeah, and then next we have this from Serum. This is just a very harsh sound, as you can see. I made some chords, but then I had the E and the F playing in the same chord, which just creates this very like dissonant, kind of unpleasant sound, but it is perfect for creating nice textures for these types of beats. So initially I just put this vocoder on here, distortion, OTT, and then lastly this EQ right here. And then I consolidated that into this audio clip, which sounds like this ultimately. And in terms of effects on that, all I really did was, I actually didn't put any effects on it. All I did was I just separated the stereo. I did put a little stereo separation. That was it. And then next layer looks like this. As you guys can hear, I put the small time modulation on that as well, which you can see right here. I just had this, time modulation. Then I added some distortion an EQ, another EQ, and some OTT to finish it off. Then I consolidated that. I pitched this up, as you can hear, and I added a shaper box. Here's the preset, EQ, OTT, and EQ'd it once again down here just to bring the highs out a little bit more. Then I consolidated that again to create this final sound. In terms of mixing on that, I just added a shaper box to manipulate the sound further. And you guys can kind of get the point here, right? Just adding a lot of effects, completely changing the sound from how it initially sounded in the initial MIDI to just create just textures and things that will kind of fill the space. So here's the last layer, or second to last layer, but this is the main lead throughout the song. And here's what the initial MIDI looks like. And on that, I just have this EQ, and then I think I'm looking at the wrong mixer here because that doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's not on a mixer. So I just consolidated it immediately, and then I added, this shaper box and this shaper box, which I'll get to in a second, explaining that, which ultimately sounds like this. And this lead reminded me a little bit of the leads or the lead from Shades on Early Life Crisis. I don't know, just certain parts of it, as you guys can hear, kind of sound similar. Yeah, and then I also had this section during the verse, which is this but EQ'd differently, and it sounds like this. You guys can probably hear I just took out the highs and the lows a bit and then just turned it overall the level down. And then the last thing I did with this one is I created this cool little transition thing, which plays as the song transitions from the chorus into the verse, which sounds like this. It just creates a smoother transition because the main harsher lead goes out, and there just needs to be some kind of thing to transition so it doesn't feel like a big drop off, which is why I decided to have that kind of delay, stereo delay effect. And then the final layer of the melody here is this. It's a very simple thing, kind of something you would expect from an Osama-san, like one of his older songs from 2022, 2023, like Flex Music era. And it's just a little plucky thing, which I then consolidated to create this. And I didn't really put any effects on this. All I did was I EQ'd it, and then I put this shaper box to pan it, but that was it. And the reason why I have this shaper box is because it's the exact opposite panning of this shaper box I added right here on the main lead, because these layers kind of are supposed to complement each other during the chorus and move back and forth. So you hear one on one side and one on the other, and then they'll kind of swap. So yeah, and then the last thing I guess is it's just this same exact pattern again, except with these bass notes as well, which this pattern only plays in the intro and right before the second chorus. And then as you guys can hear, that one's also panned. So yeah, now I'll play all the melodies together so you guys can hear what that sounds like. Now moving on to the drums, first starting off with the 808. I have two different patterns. By the way, all the drum sounds are from Warren Hunter's drum kit. Well, he has two drum kits now. He just released his second drum kit within the last couple weeks, I think. And all these sounds are from either his first or second drum kit. Yeah, so here's the first 808 pattern. Yeah, nothing too crazy. It's just an 8-bar pattern, plays during the chorus, and then the second pattern plays during the verse and it's a bit more complicated. It sounds like this. I just like adding these slide notes. I feel like it adds a lot of energy and bounce to the beat, to the drums. So yeah, definitely recommend doing that. Then in terms of mixing, I say this in every tutorial, but what I did was turn the velocity all the way up on the 808s, turn this little volume knob right here up, and then on the master I had this soft clipper, and I also added this EQ because I just wanted to reduce some of the boominess of the 808s. Just took out a little bit of the lows and then boosted the highs a bit, because I thought they needed to come out a little bit more. And then now next up we have the hi-hat, which sounds like this. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Then we just have our basic clap pattern. Next layer, our next drum sound we have is just this accent snare. And then we have this open hat here, which sounds like this. You just get the point. It's not actually even, this one plays a little bit later than the second one, just plays on the 3, but yeah, I thought it sounded good that way. Then we have this little triangle open hat. I like to add this in almost every beat. I just really like that sound. And then last but not least, we have our snare rolls. I have 2 different ones. This one is more complicated and it plays during the intro and then right before the second chorus, which sounds like this. Yeah. And then we have this one which plays every other time there's a snare roll, which sounds like this. And then here's what the full drums sound like together. Nothing too crazy. And then last but not least, we have some effects. So I added this siren. I think it sounds pretty cool. It's like an air raid siren type of thing. And then I also have this this effect, and then some like gunshot effects, and you guys will hear it. I'll just play it all together so you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for all the different elements. Here's what the full arrangement looks like. So we have a 16 or an 8-bar intro, followed by the chorus, which is 16 bars. Yeah. Then we have the verse for 32, chorus for 16, and then the outro for 16. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the video. Let me know what you guys want to see next in terms of tutorials in the comments, or comment down below what type beats I guess you want me to make in the future. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.